Thanks. So like I was saying, it's basically we've got data, we've got lots of data stashed away in organisations, and one of the problems we're finding is that people just can't find it. And if they do find it, the data's been also collected and stored in a number of places within organisations. It's been locked away in pigeonholes. Knowledge is power, people's data is power, they don't share it with anyone. So the problem we're basically finding is that the data exists, it's locked away, so how do we basically get it somewhere? The other problem we've got is that data's been captured in a huge number of different forms and standards. You'll notice in the previous speakers where they've actually said that data's been collected in all sorts of forms by unqualified people and all sorts of interesting things going in. So how do we basically get into a situation where we can actually use it? The concept is we're trying to turn basically lead into gold, and we've got this problem where we've got lots of different, even these are industry standard types, but what about all the free format stuff that's also happening out in New Zealand? So the other problem we've basically got is we've got the keepers of the truth. So who looks after the data and what do they do with it? So we've got some which act as guards, so they don't let anyone get access to it. We've got people, and then the other contrary is that we need people who can basically look after it and push it out to people. The other problem we find is that there's people trying to invent different platforms and map presentations. The message here is go with the flow. Let's not try and complicate people's life. Google's out there, Microsoft's out there, we've got to live with them whether we like it or not. So effectively, let's stick with those. The other thing is that users have not got any time for training. So basically, we've got to keep these things simple. A lot of users out there are pretty simple puppies. They just want to basically get in, do it, and find out what they want. And we can't go through these 2-day training courses and all that sort of stuff. We've still got problems, but there's a lot of people over 45 who can't read maps, who can't use computers. We've also got to consider them as part of the user base. And as users get older, and as people use more and more PCs, as they get into their 80s, they're still our customers. We're going to be basically make the systems such that they can still use them. The other thing is, what is a map made of? I mean, we're selling some pretty heavy concepts here to the average punter. We've got layers, we've got symbols, we've got colours, we've got all sorts of things, but they all turn out basically to be a picture. So we're turning some of this sort of technical stuff into pictures. And at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is convey information through the pictures. So I think the concept is when we try and design these things, we've got to actually work out what we're trying to show. Some of the stuff we've seen tonight is just masses and masses of information. So there's some basic concepts there. We're trying to show people where to go, or what's under here, or where is it, or whatever. So let's keep it pretty simple. The other thing is we're also trying to suck data from a number of different sources. We've not just got pictures, we've got pictures with intelligence. So behind each picture we've got links off to systems. There's some interesting technology problems there, because if one system changes and the other system doesn't, we've got problems. The other problem is that currency of data. When you look at stuff, how old is it? Is it dark ages stuff back in the 1950s, or is it a bit more modern, 2008 or something like that? Get a bit quick now. Can I just show you my holiday slide where I've got his attention for a second? This is the largest steam locomotive ever built. It was basically built in 1946 and it hauled coal in the USA. The concept here is that these GIS systems we have rely on infrastructure. And I suppose what we're finding is that a lot of organisations are not looking after the infrastructure. So the response times are crap, the systems break down, they're not available, we get various error messages. To make all this work, we need sponsors and champions. We need people to put money up to make the systems and keep them going, and we need them to commit time to help sell the systems within the organisation. So the other thing is, these things change all the time, so we've got to, what is life after go live? We're going to have a nice, modern shopping centre which is continually live and active, or basically is the system going to finish up as a disposable graveyard? We also need experts to make all this happen. So it's not just basically people plonking in data. We need a lot of clever people behind that. We need a lot of clever people in the room to make all these things work. So we've got to make sure we maintain these things. And the other thing is we've got to tell people we've got a good product. I mean, we're developing some very innovative product, and the problem is that half the people in the organisation don't even know these things exist. We might have these sophisticated Twitters and stuff like that, but the average punter who's working at the desk doesn't always know what's going on. So within organisations, we've got to basically tell them it's there. The other thing is, we're experts, we reckon we're good at this game, and we want to encourage people to use experts like us to do the job. Basically, you need good people to produce quality. So that's the theme of where I'm coming from.